Here we go. In this video, I'm going to do my best to give you my tips and tricks on how to develop a baseball player, not only physically, but mentally as well, from birth through the age of 19 or 20. First off, it has to be fun. If it's not fun for you, if it's not fun for them, it's probably not worth doing. It should be play. It's literally play. I read a book, The Sports Gene by David Epstein, and he did a bunch of research into high performers over the course of all sorts of sports. And one thing he found, most of them actually didn't specialize at an early age. They did perform their sport before the age of 8, like the movement patterns. You see here, he's trying lefty, trying righty, has a heavier bat, we're throwing, we're catching, but you don't need to specialize at this age. Play all the sports you can, do different things. Specialization is gonna come later in life. This goes back to now, 7 years old, you need to be playing in a league? No, you don't. You can play with your friends, you can go out and hit the ball to them. There's no need to be playing travel baseball. Age 8, you should probably start getting into some sort of organized baseball. I always think Little League is great, play local. There's no reason to drive 3 or 4 hours to face the same pitchers you're gonna face down the street. Try some different things. You see he's batting lefty there in a game for the first time and struggle a little bit. Now, for us to continue playing the game, you do need to have some successes. Different sports, try different movement patterns. These are the things that are going to help you develop, and you're gonna find out if you're good at something else. Now, here is a thing you should really look for, the one mores. When you're playing a sport and your son wants to practice, son or daughter, and he's always like, give me one more, let me one more rep. That's a good thing. This is what things we want to encourage, because we want to encourage, they should want to do it on their own, to get the reps, to play. Encourage different movements, get a heavier bat, try to create energy. See, he's all over, falling back. I don't care. I just want him turning and swinging the bat and learning to find the barrel of the bat to the baseball. This is the most important skill we could have. Now, this is the biggest thing for you parents out there watching, and you guys forget, baseball is phenomenally difficult. There are going to be struggles. Everyone struggles. Now, you may have a son who played football and basketball. They could get all the way to the pro level and never have struggled. Baseball, you're going to struggle. No one dominates all the time. So remember this, anytime your kid strikes out, if he's playing aggressive and swinging the bat, or he swings at a pitch over his head, don't get on him. Now, as we get older, kids are gonna grow at different sizes. Here you can see here, he was a relatively normal sized kid in the 8th grade, but he was playing with 2 or 3 kids who could dunk.
Yes.
So at that point, he's not gonna play as well as them in a game like basketball. Each kid develops their own size, weight, and you have to take these factors in account. Again, play all the sports, try different things, learn what you're good at. All these movement patterns are going to help later in life. Now here, as we get to 9th grade, now you're gonna have to start kicking it in. You're gonna have to, when you do see high level movement patterns, throw like the big leaguers throw. If there's a coach that's telling you only to throw overhand, he's never been around high level baseball. Try different movements. This is also too when we have to start getting a few more reps. The hard part about this, at 13, 14, you're going from swinging a -10 bat, now you're swinging a -3 on a big field. This bat's gonna swing most kids. Not many kids are strong enough to use a -3 right at 13 and 14. That's why you see kids struggle and quit here. But you have to get through that phase to be able to keep playing as you get older. Now, I still don't think this is the time you start playing year-round. Especially as you're growing and getting taller and going through growth spurts, you need your arm and your muscles to be able to take some time off, in the winter. Take 3 months off, but you should be working on your movement patterns. These movement patterns, or as scouts like to call them, actions. There's people who are older in baseball, they can look at young players and be like, this guy, if he developed in his body, is gonna be a really good player. Now we get to the age of 15, most kids are done with their growth spurt at this point. He actually took a little longer, but I think this is when you should start lifting. Before then, your body's not producing enough testosterone to repair the torn muscle fibers after you lift. So you're really not getting the benefits if you still haven't hit if you haven't hit your growth. So I was a switch hitter who started switch hitting at age 13. My son here is a switch hitter who started switch hitting at age 7. All the old scouts used to say it would take about 6 years to learn to switch hit. And I was always like, what does that mean? Why 6 years? But then I read another article that said it took about 200,000 reps to kind of get swinging sports down per thing. So if you look at this, that's about 100 swings a day for about a 6-year period. If you're doing it almost every single day, that's 200,000. That's about when you can really learn to hit. So that's why as we get a little older, we have to start specializing a little more, because we want to get these reps so you're peaking maybe towards the end of your high school going into college. Here, if you have some success, keep the video. It's always nice to go back and look at what was I doing when I hit this ball well. You know, at this point, his right arm was a little hurting, so he was not using it as much right-handed, and it was probably the best he swung for the weight at that time. But here, you see a little success, starting to do some things. Now, this is the junior summer. This is when you really have to start specializing and getting out there and seeing what you can do. This was the first summer he played any sort of traveler showcase ball, because we're like, let's get out there. Now, I will say, in fairness, freshman and sophomore year, there was the COVID, so there wasn't as much available. But this was like, we need to get in colleges, in front of colleges. Now, a lot of his friends had already been committed at an earlier age, but they had developed earlier. So what I suggest is go to camps. Pick colleges that you might want to go to. Before you go, make sure you have your son send them an email with all his information on it, his pertinent measurables, his GPA. If you do this, the coaches will make it a point to look at you. Now, as for showcases, showcases are literally showcases. You're going there to showcase a tool. If you don't have any tools, what are you going to showcase? So yes, I'm going to go down and break down kind of what these 5 tools are, but you can't showcase if you don't have a tool. Here we go to summer or senior year, starting to actually have a tool. If you can hit the ball over the fence, that's becoming a tool. Now at this point, what you have to do, still no offers, no one really interested, but you have to beat the level. So at this point, you go out, you get hits, and if you can beat the level, that will motivate you and other people to want to continue to play. So at this point, he had a good senior season. You know, he was all conference, all regional type player. You know, not an MVP type, but he beat the level on a good team in a good baseball state. Still at this point, not many offers. Talked to one JUCO he could go to, or some D3s, really no D1s, and not really even any walk-on spots, even with really good GPA. And at his height and the way he moves, I'm like, well, what do we need to do? We need to increase horsepower, because the one thing that people can't deny is hitting. If you can hit the ball harder than everyone and barrel it more than anyone, you will continue to play. So you see, here we go. We get back out. We're going to go work on these 5 tools. These 5 tools are basically what scouts do on a 20 to 80 scale. 50 is big league average, how they grade players. And this is how an easy way to quickly put a number on them. The first tool is speed. Speed is pretty simple, 60-yard dash, run it. If you run under a 7.0, you're a decent runner. Arm strength, again, arm strength, if you can throw a ball 90 mile an hour, you got a pretty good arm. If you're throwing at 85, but you're very accurate, that's a pretty good arm. Defense, pretty self-explanatory, how well you field the ball, how well you take your routes in the outfield. These are things that you can work on and get better on. Now, the most important tool for professional scouts is the hit tool. The ability to not strike out and to barrel the baseball is the toughest thing to do in all the sports, and this is one thing that I almost feel like is a little bit innate, but obviously you can make it better. But it's kind of like Harry Potter. You know, the wand chooses the wizard. Power is the last tool to develop, and we see that the guys are still developing power even up till 27, 28. Old school big league thought was, let's get the guys ready to play in the big leagues at 27, because from 27 to 33 is their peak time for being a baseball player. That's kind of when you peak your strength, your different things. His tools were still improving, so we're like, let's keep playing. At this point, he had the offer to JUCO, but until they made the rule change, now he would have had to lose a year. Now, JUCO, I think, is a great option, being that you're not going to lose a year. Go to JUCO, get some grades. So we decided to go to a post-grad and play because he was a little younger. He had turned 18 in the summer, so he was about 7-8 months younger than most of the kids in his class. But at this point, you know, he got to play baseball year-round. Now he is starting to specialize, and he had some success. And now he's heading to a college to play baseball. And all you should be wanting to do is just keep playing. Everyone's journey is different. But as you play and you get older, less and less people are playing, and it becomes easier to be picked up on a team. If you're still playing at 24 at a high level, you really did something.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I'll fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you